hello there, I'm Simon Rafe and welcome to Brown Bag Bible Study, the Bible study that you can do in your lunch break. Now this is an introduction to Scripture, which will give you some information you might not have known and encourage you to read the Bible. But most importantly, it is presented in bite-sized pieces, which are perfect to fit in with our busy lifestyles. Now every week I'm going to be concentrating on a small part of Scripture, either one of the 73 books of the Bible or a group of related books, and I'll be bringing you some interesting facts and information to help you understand it. I'll also be including links to further reading, articles, books, podcasts, and what have you, which will help you learn to love sacred scripture even more. Now this week, an overview of the 6 books of the so-called Deuteronomic history. These books, Joshua, Judges, 1st and 2nd Samuel, and 1st and 2nd Kings, are considered by many scholars to have been written by the same author, or at least edited into their final form by one person. The themes and styles of the books are very similar to those found in the book of Deuteronomy, hence the name Deuteronomic history. These 6 books together form one great history, telling the story of Israel from the conquest of the Promised Land until the Babylonian exile, the period of Jewish history when the Jews were held captive in the city of Babylon following the sack and burning of Jerusalem in 587 BC. The overarching theme of the history is fidelity to God. Those who are true to him are prosperous and successful, while those who reject him are punished and deserted. Throughout the 600 years these books cover, Israel abandons the covenant repeatedly and needs to be drawn back into a relationship with God. The moral point is made clear by the selection of material included and by the emphasis given to particular parts. And the author is not above a little editorial comment to make his point very clear indeed. Now, a word about the most popular theory of authorship. It is related to the documentary hypothesis, which many scholars reject and which does have a number of problems. The Deuteronomic history is considered by many scholars to have been assembled from disparate and varied sources, including folk legends, by an editor, or redactor, who gave it narrative shape and meaning. The editor selected material and arranged it in such a way as to make the moral point he wanted to make, namely, that faithfulness to God is a good and necessary thing. Now, as we mentioned last time, we should not judge the historical books, and particularly the Deuteronomic history, by modern standards or what we expect. The purpose of the Deuteronomic history is clear: to show the spiritual truth that obedience to God leads to prosperity. Now, of course, we know this is not the full truth. We are not assured of prosperity and success if we are faithful servants of God. And if you doubt this, take a look at the book of Job. The important lesson is that whether spiritually or physically, we benefit if we are faithful to God, and the Deuteronomic history chooses to make that point via a particular telling of history. Now, that's all for this time. Be sure to check out this week's additional resources, as there are a couple of programs on realcatholictv.com which I recommend, and they will help you understand the purpose of the Deuteronomic history. Now, next week, I'm going to be starting with the first book of the Deuteronomic history, Joshua. Until then, I'm Simon Rafe, and God bless. To learn more about the place of Scripture in the lives of Catholic Christians, I urge you to read Pope Benedict's apostolic exhortation Verbum Domini. The Pope encourages all Catholics to read, learn and love Scripture and to understand its relation to the Church. A link to this exhortation is included in the reading materials for every episode of Brown Bag Bible Study. Just click the link over there.